This is Lisa Tucker, host of The Book Cover, which showcases local literary personalities. So listen to The Book Cover on the borderline. And remember, don't judge a book by its cover. Hi, you're listening to The Book Cover. I'm Lisa Tucker, and we are on the borderline. And today I've got author and Reiki master Alex Chornyj joining us. Hi, Alex.
Pleased to meet you. Thank you for inviting me, Lisa.
You're very welcome. Yes, and Adrian, our sound engineer, he's always lurking in the shadows, making us sound good. So you've written five or four?
Five. 3 poetry and 2 children's books.
Okay. Which came first, the poetry or the children's books?
The first book was Vincel's, the poetry book.
Okay. And now, were you already a Reiki master when you started doing poetry?
Oh, no.
A long time before that.
No. When I started doing poetry, probably the first poem that I ever did was when I was 17 or so, and I had a girlfriend, and I thought instead of buying a card with writing in it, I bought a blank card, and in there I put a few verses, and it started from there.
Yeah. I was just talking with another author, and it's like when you write, if you're a writer and when you write, it makes you feel so amazing, you want to keep on doing it.
To me, it's like the endorphins of a runner's high, that when you are done, the pride that you have in what you've written, and you're thinking, how can somebody like me be capable of putting something like that together? But when you give the credit not only to your own thinking, but when you listen and you are aware, like I am cognitively, of spirits, and you believe in having spirit guides, that they give you ideas and you go from there.
You know what? It's funny you mentioned that, because I 100% agree with you on that. I feel like I've got someone or something whispering in my ear. Some of my best ideas have been whispered in my ear by something or someone.
It just enthuses the entire body when you're one with nature, and when you're born. Like I try to explain it. From Hamlet, from grade 10, being a collegiate, I remember there was a quote, there is a destiny that shapes our ends, rough hew them how we will, meaning that we're all born as a square block of unrealized potential, and if all we ever are is a couch potato, that's all we're ever going to be, is that square block of unrealized potential. But if we little by little believe in ourselves and show inspiration and show motivation, we little by little, the outline starts to show out of that block, and then an image starts to form, and then a voice starts to form, and then you yourself become connected not only with that, but also with the lead lines in the earth, and then you become one with who and what you are, and you start realizing what your potential is, and you start living your dream. So
being a Reiki master, I have my first degree Reiki, so I sort of know a little bit about it, but I explain for people that don't know, because this really ties into what you write and how you write, because you are very sensitive to the energies around you. So explain what Reiki is.
Reiki is a form of energy channeling. It utilizes the universal chi or energy that exists in all living things. And most people would think living things have to be either animal or a plant or whatever, but it also vibrational frequency. We all vibrate at a certain frequency and different frequency, but the energy, when you're an energy channeler, you don't use your own auric energy, because we all have our own aura, but you tap into the universal energy. And when you work on an individual or yourself, you utilize that energy, and the energy has a mind of its own. It knows where it needs to go in the human body, or if you're working on a tree, when I'm walking in a park, wherever, if I'm drawn to a tree, whatever, I go through the chakras, and there's 7 major chakras, and you start at the root and you work your way up, and the root is red, and then it goes orange, yellow, green and pink, blue, purple, and white at the crown chakra.
Very cool. Now, you spoke about spirit guides.
Yes.
Your spirit guides, I'm going to assume this, correct me if I'm wrong, have a huge part in your writing.
They're the biggest part of my writing, because it's like I feel like I'm like, if you can use the metaphor, I feel like I'm the secretary, and all I do is, and some of my greatest writing happens at work, and I work in a jail, a provincial institution, and people would think, how can you focus in a place like that with all the negative energy and everything? But your ability to focus is not affected by your extremities. When you are one with the earth and one with yourself and one with all life, you are able to listen and to focus, and then you sit quiet, and then just words start coming. And as the words start coming, I just start writing. And it just flows like a river. It's that beautiful. It just flows like a river.
That's so cool. And I'm so shocked of your job, because I know people who have worked in that area and how stressful it is. And you're such a soft-spoken, peaceful, like you walked in and you're very soft-spoken and peaceful. And that shocked me totally. So you're doing a good job. Somewhere you're doing a very good balance somewhere, because if you can be this calm and relaxed while working in that kind of an atmosphere, you're doing something right.
It's as you take care of your temple, right?
Yeah.
Like, I get up very early in the morning. Like, I get up way earlier than the average person would, but I spend an hour every morning doing energy, and that is reiki, that is meditation, that is massage, that is using crystals as well, because crystals help to enhance, amplify the energies that you need. Yeah. It's all part of the holistic approach.
Yes, and I love that you said how we're all connected. I think, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I always say the indigenous spirituality really I think they had it at the very beginning. We are connected to the trees, to the water, to each other, to the air that we breathe, to the water that we drink. We are all connected. Do you agree?
I totally agree.
Yeah.
And like, when I had a bad fall when I was a kid, when I woke up from being knocked out, I looked up at the sky and I said, why and how am I still here? Like, and then I realized, even at that age of 8 years old, that I had a purpose. And I realized then and there that I had some form of protective spirit guides, because there's no other way that I survived a 30-foot fall. There is no way. There's no...
Without any medical intervention afterwards?
None whatsoever.
That's a crazy story.
And to play football all my life, to be an ethnic dancer when I was a kid, a Ukrainian Carpathian dancer, to have been a bodybuilder in the 80s, and to have no side effects from it, none, is just incredible.
That's crazy. That is crazy. I want to get to the books. So which one of your books was your first?
My first book was Vincel's.
Okay.
And the name of Vincel's came from a small town inside of France, because my mom was born in England. She has English and French heritage, and it was my 4 great-grandfathers, Edmond Germain Vincel, Viltard de Vincel. He was a benefactor to the town, and they had a very rather large home there. It was more like a small castle kind of thing. And after he passed, he even donated that residence to the municipality, and they turned it into a home for children that were developmentally handicapped, and it was a beautiful story.
Wow.
But that town, they have a coat of arms, and in their city hall on their wall, there's a feather on the bottom right hand corner of that coat of arms, and that feather represents my 4 great grandfathers, Edmund Germain. It represents his contribution, what they still remember of him. And when I called them, when I first did this book in 2020 and told them what I did, they were so impressed that, because I sent one of my books autographed to them, because I wanted that to be with them.
Mm-hmm.
So they took one of my poems called Vincels, they translated into French, and they actually put it on the wall beside their coat of arms in their...
Wow. Well, what an honor.
And they said, Alex, you, whenever you can someday, you come back here. Because I was there at one point in 2003. I spent a trip of my life, 6 weeks in France, England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Just finding my heritage again, reacquainting myself with family and with my great grandparents that had passed on. Like his son, Joseph Viltard, my 3 great grandfathers, he was an ambassador for France in Venice when Napoleon took over Venice. So there was a book called Beatrice of Venice, written in 1904 by Max Pemberton, and it was called Beatrice of Venice, and it was all about Napoleon's conquest of Venice. And my 3 great grandfathers, Joseph Viltard, he was the main character in the book, sending back like an emissary would, like a messenger, to Napoleon, all what was going on, to let him know the politics, all the different situation before he came into Venice. And then when he retired from service as an ambassador for France in Venice, Napoleon gave him all these different gifts. And actually what I was told, and what I couldn't believe, my old cousin George Viltard told me in 2003, was that actually they were such good friends growing up as teenagers that Joseph and Napoleon, they lived in an apartment together in Paris for amount of time.
Wow.
And so I have this brooch that was given by Napoleon to my great grandfather, Joseph, and I still have that, and it has a big L on it. It's just beautiful.
Wow.
And it's dated back like about circa 1780. It's absolutely, it's hidden away, and it's...
What a legacy.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Wow, what an ancestry. So we talked about the book. I want you to read one of your favorite poems from...
Okay.
Now, I want you to read it from Vincel.
Okay.
Since we're talking about Vincels right now.
Okay. So Phases of the Moon. And Phases of the Moon, it's really important to me because my daughter Luna, I was able to name her because with my wife, she was going to name our child Daniel after her father if it would have been a boy, and being a girl, I was able to name her being Luna because a medium had told us that she was a moon child, so hence...
Oh, I love when the names mean stuff.
There's full meaning.
I love it.
So this is called Phases of the Moon. Another year has come and gone in the blink of an eye through the phases of the moon. On this horizon, each stands on their own by its merit of constant change, as what we were yesterday is slightly augmented from what we are currently to what we evolve to. In the future tense, on a graded scale, as we shed one skin in favor of its successor. Until we get to this point, little is exactly known about our character, as only the light of that given moment can describe in full detail what then exists under the illuminance. of such a glow. For then a true reflection from an accurate portrayal has a transparent shimmer. Images of ascended visions have a continuity in gradual degrees to shape a vision. This revolving focus becomes more refined with each passing cycle for greater clarity. Lines are not a weakness, but a clear indication of a profound wisdom that etches a sage like karma.
Wow. And that's just one. So is there a theme through this book and the poetry?
I would think it's not a theme, but a continuity from one to the next.
Okay.
It's like reading a book chapter upon chapter upon chapter. And as you go through your evolutionary stages in ascension in life, being aware, the poetry evolves with you along that scale.
Wow, that's beautiful. It's nice because it's nice to see that, because I like when things flow. I'm a little OCD, so I like when things flow, and that's a positive. I love that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It creates momentum within the being to really see the light at the end of the tunnel, and to each day move closer towards that light and becoming truly what you are meant to in this life. Like I am one person being the Reiki master. I do believe in reincarnation, and I do believe that one life is a karmic, and it's just a karmic extension of the other. So and in this life and in this period of time, we have more freedom to not be so ostracized, and like maybe in Salem, Massachusetts, to be like a witch burned at the stake for who you are and what you believe in. But actually now that we celebrate diversity, especially in a country like Canada, for who and what you are, not the melting pot
that the U.S. is.
Yeah. But we are always been called the vegetable bowl. So we celebrate individuality and the greatness of the light from within.
And, well, you mentioned celebrating diversity, so I have to mention that this is Indigenous History Month, and it's also Pride Month. So that kind of goes along with celebrating diversity.
Diversity includes every single phase, every single stage of like we are all connected together like spokes on a wheel. It's all like phases of the moon, like I was just talking about, and we're all together if we are in harmony, unlike the earth right now with all of the war that's going on. When people of like mind come together and they share a certain moment, they've proven it to actually heal together. Like they've proven in numbers the power of the mind and the minds when we're all connected. They've done studies before and shown that when people are all together and they focus on one idea, helping one person heal, that person is then healed. And it's just like the plant on your shelf there. They've proven that when you have music, and if you take wild acid rock or whatever, that plant is going to be shriveled up like a prune and held within itself. But if you play classical Chopin, that plant will just open its petals and it will become everything it's meant to be.
And that's great talk, because we were talking about vibration.
Yes.
And plants don't have ears, but the music has vibration.
I've been reading even studies lately that's been proving the connection between plants and trees and animals even now, that they're proving cognizance. And before, when they would think, no. But I mean, I used to do meditation at Cathedral Grove, which is old growth forest west of Nanaimo on Vancouver Island. And about 7-8 years ago, I was feeling drawn back to BC, to Campbell River, and what it actually, and it's a leap of faith, but you're you're connected to it, so you'll understand that the trees that I'd done the meditation, because they were hollowed out, you're able to do meditation right inside the tree, and they communicated with the orcas in Campbell River. He's coming. And so when we went on the boat, and it was my wife, my sister, her son, my daughter, and it took about half an hour. But the guy that drove the boat for his business for about 30, 35 years, he said he'd never seen in all that time the orcas jump the way they did that day. It was absolutely magical and miraculous.
Wow, what an experience.
The connection, right?
Yes. Oh, I'm a huge believer that we are all connected, as people, as animals, as nature. We're all connected. So that's I love that story. That's a really cool story. I want you to read, so was this your second book or not? What was your second book? I want to do them in order.
Well, the second book would have been The Chosen One, but that would be the first children's book.
Okay, let's talk about the children's books. So one is The Chosen One, and the other one is Beside My Equal.
Yes.
What drew you to write children's books?
My spirit again, because it was like the main character being the boy in the book. He's about 10 years old, Toby. He would have been myself. And Toby is able to shapeshift, to change from human into other creatures, like a hawk, a whale. And he goes throughout in the book, and he helps other humans and then other animals. And he's able to follow a path where he's been in other lives into Peru and places like that. And he's able to reconnect with lighting the lamp again in the windows of his cognizance, like becoming aware of what exactly his destiny is. It's beautiful. And then he meets up with this young girl, his age, magically, and they become connected, and she becomes a shapeshifter as well, realizing she has that ability, and it goes on from there.
So in the chosen one that we've been talking about, how do the clouds play into it? Because there's lots of pictures of clouds in your interpretations.
Now, every single illustration in The Chosen One is an actual cloud picture, and because of my affinity with life, with the clouds, with the trees, with water, it's just all of Earth's elements, and it works on the premise of them revealing their identity to me, and being able to understand that even when I'm on a walk and my hand goes up to the sky, when I see not normal clouds, but when it's like Michelangelo up in the clouds, there's a wispiness, and my hand goes up and I can feel the energy. Like it was about a month ago, and I was at Bellevue Park, and I was going for a walk, and I was thinking about taking my daughter to Greece. Well, on that day, and this was synchronicity, I had gotten a baseball jersey at work because I was playing baseball with the guys, so I had picked number 77. And when I went on the walk that same day with my little dog, there were wispy clouds right at the point on Topsail Island, and the first wispy cloud was a 7, the second was a 7, the third one was a smiling dolphin. And then as I was driving home, stopped at the stoplight on Wellington and Lake, there was another wispy cloud, and it looked like a check mark. And at the bottom end of the check mark, there was a head, and it was the head of Zeus. And it was just amazing when they were saying, you need to come now. So if possible, someday I will. I know I'm meant to go, especially to the Oracle at Delphi. I've always been drawn to that place. I'm being drawn to many different places, but when the freedom comes to be able to do that, then you do it.
Now, 7 is an angel number.
It's a lucky number, right?
Yeah, it is, because I know it's an angel number. Yeah, that's cool. I want you to read before we run out of time. I want you to read an excerpt from The Little Angels.
Okay. Now, this one actually has to do, it's like the continuity. It's Vincels. It's the title Vincels. This wasn't written when I wrote the book Vincels, but I wrote it when I was writing the book Little Angels. So this is the poem called Vincels.
Okay.
Okay? And it goes like this. The pride in your name, its origins, your family history, what they were known for. Most were wine producers. All were benefactors who wanted to give back as a sign of gratitude. A time when one's word meant what it said, as those pulled together as the symbol of a woven sinew that was indivisible, as thoughts centered around a single tree, from which all soul came, circles of heredity, a provenance in the veil of Vincels. There was no question as to the testimony of an inner ring whose flame burned brightly, footsteps remembered as a legacy for those to come, of the shoes they would fill, plaques still to this day, each good deeds done, though long departed, yet near in heart. A character in these defined, a strength that ran through and evenly through, in a land of the romantics, waters as pure, souls as vibrant as their uncommon nature.
Wow. Wow. They're so provoking. Like thought-provoking. I almost don't know what to say afterwards because I'm thinking about the words that you just said. They're very thought-provoking, and I love that. They're just not spoon-feeding you.
They give me goosebumps. Even after years of writing them before,
yeah,
I can go back and the meaning is even more intense and is even more because I'm further along my ascended line in my evolution, and it just it does, it's all tied together.
Mm-hmm.
and it's amplified.
Wow. And then we have not mentioned First Light. Now First Light is also poetry as well. Okay. And who publishes your books?
Cyberwit.net, and the man's name is Chornyj,
Mm-hmm.
and he is from India, and he contacted me. I didn't contact him. He contacted me way back in 2020, and he said he had seen some of my writing on it was a writing site in California called Artists for a Better World.
Mm-hmm.
And he was drawn to my writing, and he said if I was interested, and it just seemed like it was a fit at that moment. Like the goosebumps came on my arm and told me the intuition, this is the right connection, this is the moment to go for it, and I went for it. And there's supposed to be coming, there will someday, there will be a third children's book, and right now I have enough for poetry, I have enough for
10 books?
I will bet you 10 books.
Wow, that's crazy. And do you write, do you write pen and paper or do you write computer?
Oh, I write pen and paper and then I put it on computer.
That's the way I think. I think pen and paper too, because
yes.
it's a more natural or organic way of doing it.
It's absolutely the natural way to do it.
Yeah.
It's just, I believe that nowadays, like with the cell phone and everything like that, people become disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
But with the natural way, you stay connected, and
I agree. There's more artistry.
You're grounded.
Yes.
The word I'm looking for is grounded.
Yes, and there's more artistry in pen to paper.
Yes.
I feel like
people feel that camaraderie, or they feel that oneness together. Mm-hmm. Especially, like, I always like going, they've cut it out here now in town. We used to do it at the library all the time. At least once a month we had porch.
The writers groups.
We had writers groups and everything. And even over the river at Bayless, over the river. Mm-hmm. We would do that every month, but it's petered out. And
well, I think COVID did a lot of
damage.
to things continuing.
Absolutely.
where can one get your books?
They can check cyberwit.net, but also my books are available with Walmart in the States.
Oh, wow.
With on eBay. They're available. Oh boy, just tapping my brain. If they just Google my name, Alex Chornyj, they'll come up with 50 hits, because they're available in different countries like Australia, over in Europe, in Spain, in France, and they're all in English. They haven't been translated, but they're all...
Poetry, I understand, is very difficult to translate into another language.
The
flow isn't the same.
It changes the vibration almost.
Yeah.
It changes the vibration, but it's available. Oh, I'm just trying to think
trying to think of all the places. Well, while you're thinking, I'm going to let people know Cyberwit is spelled CIBERWIT, and that's .net. So the book
CY.
Did I see CY?
CI.
Oh, geez, I'm an English major. That's terrible. Okay, let me do that again. CYBERWIT.net. Correct? And
Correct.
so people can definitely get them there.
Yes.
Well, you've been very refreshing and very calm and relaxing. I think you calm and relaxed me. So I need some calming, relaxing. But thank you so much for coming on the show. It was great to meet you.
It was awesome that Adrian invited me and that I got the connection with you. And now that we have the connection with the Reiki, I'm sure that we'll continue our...
Yes, I hope so. We will talk in the future. Thank you so much, Alex.
Thank you for allowing me this time.
Yes, no problem. I love it. We've been talking with poet and author Alex Chornyj, also master Reiki. You've been listening to The Book Cover. I'm Lisa Tucker. We're on the borderline. And remember, don't judge a book by its cover.
This is Alex Chornyj. I am very grateful to have done this recording today with Lisa Tucker on The Book Cover, where you can check me out on borderline.ca. Google my name, Alex Chornyj, CHORNYJ. You'll come up with all the different hits. It's just an amazing experience to be here. Thank you and have a great day.